What's going on, everybody? Welcome to night two of the mock of the NFL draft. Last night was interesting for a couple teams. I say from the teams that I saw last night, the winner so far was the Seattle Seahawks. They ended up picking up Devon Witherspoon at number 5 and Jackson Smith and Jigba at number 20. I think that's going to be a big addition for both of those for them immediately. I also would like to say that the Houston Texans did what they need to do to get you two franchise stalwarts to build around, and looking forward to see what these guys can do long term for the NFL draft. And we're gonna get ready to get started in a few. Pittsburgh's gonna be on the clock first at number 32, and I'm gonna show as Mike get ready to come in a second. I want to go ahead and pull up the screen that I have, and I'm just gonna show you guys right now the best available players going into right now. Of course, Will Levis, who everyone thought was going to go in the first round, has completely slipped out the first round, and he's the number one guy on the board. In your top 10, you got Michael Mayer out of Notre Dame, Joey Porter out of Penn State, who I immediately thought was going to be a top 10 to 15 pick. You got Brian Branch out of Alabama, Luke Musgrave, the tight end out of Oregon State. Hendon Hooker also is on the board still that you got from the University of Tennessee. You got Steve Avila, a solid center, who at one point was getting first round grades. If you need a offensive lineman, he may be your best offensive lineman available. You got Keanu Benton, the defensive tackle out of Wisconsin, Jonathan Mago, who's a solid wide receiver out of Ole Miss, Darnell Washington, tight end from University of Georgia. You see there's still a lot of talent left at number in the top 32 right here. So I know they've been saying that Pittsburgh has been looking to trade up. Teams has been calling Pittsburgh about possibly trading up. I don't know if it's going to happen just yet. And we got Mike entering the stream as we continue to talk about this team. There goes Mike. Mike, what's going on, bro? Welcome back to the stream.
What's going on, everybody? Hope everybody enjoyed the first round last night. But, as we see every year, these next couple of rounds and then tomorrow, these are where the gems, this is where, the scouting department makes their money.
Yes, sir. I was actually just showing the draft, the remaining players that are available still. Is it anybody that you are completely shocked that has fallen to number 32? But felt that's not in the first round.
Honestly, Joey Porter Jr. is kind of one of those guys like Cam Smith, like we talked about last night. Cam Smith out of South Carolina. Joey Porter Jr. was getting, in that 17 to 30 range all draft season. And, he's there still. He's still really a good corner. Michael Mayer, he was getting first round grades. Brian Branch was getting like top 20-ish first round grades for a while, and he kind of tailed off to the back end. But there's still a lot of guys on here that I know everybody can't go in the first round, but there's some gems still here in the second round in the top best available.
Yes, sir. I agree with that 100%. And I also feel like there are going to be some teams that's going to try to move up early. We had a crazy draft, a crazy trading night in the first round of the draft to see Arizona trade back and have Houston come all the way up. By the way, have you seen that pick? Have you seen that trade that Houston did to come all the way up to number 3? I come up there and get Will Anderson, but golly, what do you think about that trade?
What, they gave up a first next year too?
They gave up. Let me see. Can I pull up that? I want to pull up so I can show it to the general public. I'm glad I want to pull up that draft trade because they gave up a lot. They definitely gave up a lot on the trade. I'm trying to y'all give us a second. I want to pull that trade up because they went up to get Will Anderson. That was a great pick, but I mean they gave up a lot to go get Will Anderson. Let me come off this screen for a second so I can pull it up and show you guys what they did. It was a good move by them, but I mean they gave up a lot. So Will Anderson better. I think Will Anderson's going to work out, but I know that they better tighten up. But let me get. I got it. There we go. Go back to full screen. So for everybody that's tuned in, the draft, the pick. So this is the trade. The Texans were number 12. They moved up to number 3 last night. They gave up pick 12, pick 33, where the Cardinals will be picking right after Pittsburgh, a 2024 first and a 2023 third, and a third rounder, it looked like, for that draft as well. Oh, Armand is back on the screen with us as well. I'm going back to show the trade that happened between the Texans and the Cardinals. I was talking about they gave up a lot. What do you think about that trade?
I don't know if you can hear us right now. His audio might
Oh,
be still
Armand, you on mute.
confused.
What did you think about that trade between the Texans and the Cardinals last night? Did they give up a? I think they gave up a little too much.
Hey, good evening, fellas. Sorry to join a little late. Um, uh, I think I like the trade for the Texans. I think they gave up a lot to move up. They did. I was surprised that they gave up their first round pick instead of the Browns, but I think that was part of the deal because I think the expectation is that the Texans probably won't be that good, so they'll probably be picking possibly in the top 10 next year. Obviously, with Watson having a full year with Cleveland, I think the expectation is they'll be a lot better and won't be picking in 12 again. So they gave up a lot, but I like the move for the Texans. I love the aggression.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I definitely look forward to see how tonight's going to play out. I know they've been saying there were several reports that Pittsburgh was having teams try to fill offers to come up to number 32 to get that second round pick. I'm intrigued to see if anybody's going to come up. Let me see these comments. Ryan, what's going on? Buddy Buckets, what's up, bro? What's going on, man? But yeah, I'm intrigued to see how far do Will Levis stay on the board? How do y'all think gets on the board quick, or do y'all think it's going to be a minute today?
I don't think he's gonna be on the board for that much longer. I would probably say maybe with the 10 picks. I think that he'll probably be on the board. But you never know. We thought Malik Willis last year was gonna go early in the second round, but I was reading some reports about Levis. They said he was maybe a little too uptight, little robotic. Just and I know there was one scout that said he's just missing something, and they don't know what that is. Um, so I don't know. I know the Rams have been in the conversation, and I think they pick within the next 10 picks. So
Okay, the second round has officially opened. Ryan asked, so is who Green Bay drafted good? I need info on him. I don't know too much about him. Me personally, Lucas Van Ness is as we all were talking about last night, is probably going to come in to be the Clay Matthews type person for the Packers in that 3-4 scheme. I'm not the biggest fan of Luke Van Ness, but he's definitely, if living up to potential, he'll be a solid pass rusher. What y'all think about Lucas Van Ness?
Yeah, I've been pretty low on Lucas Van Ness the entire draft process. I'm really not impressed by him. He does have a high motor. He's active, but um, I feel like it was a reach in my opinion. They could have got a better overall player where they selected. But hey, if that's your guy, you go get him, regardless of what anybody else thinks. So if that's their guy. That's their guy.
yeah, I don't really have too much of a problem with the pick. I think Van Ness is one of those guys. I think he had to go to the right team that can maximize his potential, and he seems like a Green Bay Packer. And if you look at the track record of the pass rushes that the Packers have drafted in the past, running that 3-4 system, they've done pretty well. So he's a really good athlete. I don't think he's going to come in and just dominate immediately, but with the right coaching and tutelage, I think he could be potentially a productive pass rusher within 3 years.
Okay. I'm actually trying to look up this Packers salary cap situation. I know I know without having Aaron Rodgers on the team, that's going to save a lot of money for them. I'm trying to look at their defensive line situation for 2023. It looks like, from what I am reading on, Rashawn Gary is up for a contract this year. Possibly Preston Smith is up for a contract this year too. I don't know. That to me signals that they're going to be moving on from Preston Smith. I think they're going to retain Rashawn Gary, especially after getting rid of that Aaron Rodgers money. So yeah, I think Lucas Van Ness might be, like you said, I think he may be here to learn a year, and then in 2024, that could be their road that they go, and go ahead and get that could be their starter. So we'll see what happens. I'm intrigued to see what Pittsburgh's about to do right here at 32. I don't know if y'all got a chance to tune into the show. Pittsburgh definitely are on the clock now. I'm just intrigued to see how this start of the second round is going to go.
And Pittsburgh has this pick due to the Chase Claypool trade that was in the offseason. I'm sure that the Bears wish they had this pick back, especially getting DJ Moore. Yeah, we'll see if they draft Porter Jr. We'll see.
Let's see. Tevin, what's going on? Tevin said there is no way they don't go. I feel the same way. I thought he was going to be their first round pick, to be honest with you. But I mean, Broderick Jones is not a bad pick. Was not a bad pick at all. Of course, one of the solid left tackles of the draft. So I would be shocked also if this is not Joey Porter Jr. or some corner in this position. So we'll definitely see. I know they got, and then you got whoever your corner comes in is going to get a chance to learn up under veteran Patrick Peterson. No, Pat Pete is not the guy that he used to, but I mean, he's going to get a chance to learn under Patrick Peterson, and I would love that. And Reggie said that he wants Porter Jr. as well. Of course, I haven't seen the pick yet. So if it is Porter Jr., it only makes sense. I mean, your dad was a Steelers legend in Pittsburgh for a while during the Super Bowl run. So what y'all guys think about Joey Porter?
Yeah, I mean, like when we started the show off, I thought I was surprised. He was one of my surprises that he was still around. But I think that's a product of some of the teams reaching for other needs. But he's definitely a first round talent. I think he definitely fits their scheme. He fits their style. They have some players there in that secondary. There are some pretty good players, and I feel like he'll join in and mesh in well with them.
I think the pick is in, but I'll just say really quickly, the Steelers have had struggles drafting corners historically. So I hope, with Porter, he played in the Big Ten, he played against Ohio State, played really well against some of the corners. I mean, the receivers that were on the team. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yes, sir. I'm ready to find out who is going to be here. Art Rashawn said, I hate to be a foul. Hey, leave my boys alone now. Leave my boys alone. Leave us alone. We on the come up. Leave us alone now. Reggie said we need him. Hey, I would love for him to be that. It would just make so much sense for Joey Porter to be a Steeler. I would love that. All right, we're waiting to see what Pittsburgh is going to pick. And he said crazy. I don't know if you got a chance to see what I was saying earlier. I talk about that Bijan move soon. But if the Falcons have been linked to him for a couple of days, so I'm not even surprised that we made that pick last night. And I actually did a quick live earlier today and was talking about that pick. Let's see. Before we continue, I want to see what the pick is for Pittsburgh. We're waiting to find out.
It's Joey Porter Jr.
It is Joey Porter Jr. He's going where his dad was at one point in time. That's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool thing. I'm gonna try to show a couple of highlights from Joey Porter Jr. for a moment. Give me 1 second, everyone. I'm waiting on it to come up. There he goes. Just want to show like a 1 minute clip of Joey Porter Jr. He immediately will produce in Pittsburgh. Immediately. Nick, what's going on, man? Good to see you checking in tonight. That Pittsburgh secondary. So that's a great move. And I don't know if my boy Tevin is on here. Tevin has once said it best. Penn State has done such a solid job producing NFL talent. They just can't produce at quarterback. But everywhere else, Pittsburgh produced some solid talent. They're doing it.
Hey, I think Penn State. I think Penn State's got a good quarterback coming, man. He's actually from Northeast Ohio. A 4-star recruit. Watch out for Drew Allar.
Keep that name in mind. I'm glad you said that. As I said again, this is video of Joey Porter Jr. last year in a Penn State uniform, maybe throughout his collegiate career at Ohio State. Armand, you are an Ohio State fan. You got a chance to play Penn State in a really close game last year. How do you feel about Joey Porter Jr.?
I like Porter Jr. a lot. You know, he plays a lot of man coverage. He has really long arms, so he really can engage with wide receivers. I think he has the speed, you know, to get back in coverage. I know he's great at deflecting passes. Like I mentioned, the long arms. He's instinctual. I think he'll fit right in with Pittsburgh's secondary from their history. He loves to tackle. Too, which is very, very important. And I think having Patrick Peterson to teach him, you know, the ropes to be, you know, an elite corner is going to be great for him. So as a Browns fan, I'm a little disappointed, but at the same time, I'm happy for the Steelers. They're having a good draft, man. They're getting some good players that are battle tested, like the comment Tevin said. So I agree with that.
Mike, how you feel about Porter in this spot?
Yeah, since we started this show, I think we all pretty much said it was a pretty beneficial mutual fit for both parties. So I'm not surprised at all right here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I agree with you guys. And back on the board for the first time in the second round are the the Arizona Cardinals. I'm not sure what these guys are about to do right here. Yesterday, they went and picked up Paris Johnson Jr. I thought it was kind of a reach last night, even though they did need to protect Kyler Murray. Paris Johnson is a really solid tackle. I thought they could have stayed in place and not trade up to go get him. But what do y'all think they're going to do right here?
I think the Cardinals go, if they don't go offensive line again, they probably go defensive line. I got them going with Cayenne Benton out of Wisconsin or Keon White out of Georgia Tech to get some edge pressure. They had a very poor sack rate last year.
Keon White will be interesting. He's really one of those guys who's jacked up, chiseled, man. Really can get off the line quick. He used to be a tight end.
Oh man. With that being said, we have a trade. The Tennessee Titans have traded up to number 33.
It looks like the Cardinals don't want to draft.
Right. This is what their second or third time trading back. So now Tennessee is picking at 33.
Okay, this is interesting.
Yeah, I'm wondering what Tennessee came up for. Is this Will Levis?
This could be Levis or Hooker.
You're right. Hitting Hooker makes so much sense here.
Tennessee,
especially from Tennessee. Yeah, it makes so much sense here.
I guess my concern is that they drafted quarterbacks. This will be back-to-back years, and then they will potentially be bad enough that they could be in the Caleb Williams race. So that's three. it's kind of the opposite of what the Falcons have done. That they've drafted quarterbacks. Every guy had to do it. I had to do it, man. Hey, maybe y'all can make a trade with them, man. They might have a quarterback they want to give up. No thanks. Okay, I totally understand. Okay, the pick is in. Let's see what's going on.
Okay, the trade is the Titans gave up pick number 30. They got pick 33 in the third round pick. They gave the Cardinals, 41 and 2 other picks to come up to number 33. So I'm wondering, what did Tennessee see for them to jump up to number 33? I'm just highly intrigued to see what this pick is going to be. So once again, pick 41 is going to be the Arizona Cardinals. Let's see what Roger Goodell's going to go to the podium and say that Tennessee is coming up here to pick.
It's Will Levis.
And Will Levis is finally off the board, who we all thought was going to go last night. He is going to go to Tennessee. I've been
Wow, they just admitted that they screwed up last year during the draft, drafting Malik Willis.
Yes,
Wow, I
they did.
cannot imagine spending that draft capital on another quarterback who just That's bad. That's bad for that franchise.
Here's
It
the
might
bad
be the
thing
right
about
move.
that pick.
It might be the right move, but that's bad for that franchise.
The bad thing about that pick is, Mike, you better hope he works, because that means you have given up a lot to come. You give Arizona 3 draft picks to come up and get Will Levis. So yeah.
I'm trying to think, who was the last good quarterback the Titans have had that they actually drafted?
Vince Young? Was it
Nair?
Vince Young?
Was this Steve? He was drafted by Tennessee?
Yeah, McNair was drafted by them in the ninth. He was drafted by the Oilers.
Oh,
So I would say Vince. I would say Vince Young. I would say what I've observed for Tennessee, just their history. They like athletic quarterbacks. They like athletic quarterbacks. They had Jake Locker, who didn't work out. I'm trying to think who else was on there.
And Marcus Mariota.
Marcus Mariota.
Who's that?
Marcus Mariota. They drafted Willis. They drafted Tannehill, who used to be a wide receiver, even though he traded for him. And now they drafted Levis, who's a chiseled guy. So it's kind of like they got a type at quarterback.
Oh, cute! Look at him showing that highlight towards the end of that Georgia game when that game was over. Anyways, keep going.
But I will say, like I really talked about it yesterday. About Levis, I think that some of the things that he did, like off the field, I'm not gonna say he has character problems, but it's just not typical behavior. Like they showed even on the highlights that he put mayonnaise in his coffee. He ate a banana with the peel on it. Like that's not normal. I'm just being honest, and I'm not trying to say that anything's wrong with him, but I'm just think if you're at practice going on the field and then this guy's just putting a dollop of mayonnaise in his coffee at the QB meeting. His breath gotta be hot, man. His breath gotta be hot.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to see what he says in the group chat.
The lines on the clock, my bad.
Hey, Bridget, how you doing? All right, Detroit has made their selection. Let's see what Detroit's picking.
I think they go tight end.
You're right.
And it is Sam Laporta, the tight end out of Iowa.
Well, I'm surprised. I said tight end. I did not know it was going to be him. I thought it was going to be Michael Myers. Wow. Why is Michael Myers slipping?
Hey, I'll say this, man. Iowa's doing good in the draft. That's three guys. That's 3 guys drafted. And the Big Ten too, man. The Big Ten is doing really, really good in the draft, and the SEC too.
Hey, wow. I was getting them recruits in there because that's another player that just went to from the University of Iowa. And these are some of his highlights. He was probably, to me, one of the underrated tight ends in college football last season. He's not no burner, but hey, he catch everything.
And they do a great job at Iowa developing tight ends. Really good job, and they have a good, strong program there. Like it's like Penn State, man. If they could get a quarterback, they could be a threat.
Absolutely. And
But
Iowa,
this
what's this
is
here? This is number two. This is number 2 of this draft because Lucas
three.
Van Ness, three. Who am I forgetting?
Jack Campbell.
Jack Campbell. You're right. So that's and that's the second Iowa player to go to Detroit. Somebody in that Detroit front office is an Iowa fan.
Yeah. They play hard. They get dirty. Dan Campbell likes physicality.
Yeah,
So I like the pick. I like the pick a
I do
lot.
too.
This is
I
probably
definitely,
my favorite pick of the Lions.
absolutely. I do think that I do agree with you that their picks have kind of have been leading more to the physicality that we've been seeing from guys like that. Let me go to the comments. Shane, what's going on, Shane? He said who the Panthers draft. You guys have not drafted just yet. So we'll see what you guys pick in about 3 to 4 picks. Look like about 39. Mike, how you feel about Sam Laporta?
That I've been shocked by 2 picks already, and it just started because I thought Laporta is really good. I just thought Michael Meyer was. I don't know why he's still on the board.
And you know what? He might be ready to come off the board because Las Vegas just traded up. The Colts was picking at 35. Now the Raiders have traded up. This could be Michael Mayer right here. Michael Meyer,
Well,
however you say it.
it is the Raiders. They might go Darnell Washington.
That's true too. That could be the case too. I wouldn't count that out as well. But the crazy thing is, it seems like again there are players that are slipping that you thought were coming out. Like Keon White's a guy Keon White, Brian Branch, Jordan Battle. Those 3 names alone was getting first round looks, and they are slipping.
Well,
So
you know
somebody
what?
was. Mhm.
As we were talking about the Raiders, they did lose Matt Collins last year, and the casual fan might not know who Matt Collins is, but he was their second leading receiver. They could go Jonathan Mingo right here as well.
That
They
is
could
true.
go tight end or receiver.
That is true too. That is definitely true.
Yeah, I
Let's
think
see.
Mayer dropping. I think because of the athleticism. I think that's the big thing. I think he seems a little cerebral. I know there's been a lot of Jason Witten comparisons. I think he's a good, really good player. Um, if there's a team that might have a missing piece that's tight end, I know a team like the Bengals could use a guy like that to just hold the middle down. But we'll see. We'll definitely see. I mean, for the Raiders, what is Jalen Hyatt's on the board?
Yeah.
Another receiver that I kind of like that's underrated is Rashee Rice.
Yep.
Uh, he's a yard after catch guy. I really really like his game. And the
Yes, sir.
Raiders,
Oh, and the Raiders only when they only gave up a 5th to go up. So they're going to be picking at number 38. Let's see.
Michael Mayer.
It only made sense. It made sense for
Yep.
them to trade up for Michael Mayer. You just traded. Lord, hey, y'all forgive me. I can spell. Vegas was typed wrong, but Michael Mayer is you just traded. What's his name? What's the dude?
Darren Waller.
Darren Waller to the Giants. So it only makes sense for him to go right here. Let me go ahead. I got to get some. highlights. And here is the run on tight ends that we were talking about last night. It is happening right now. Michael Mayer is one of the best tight ends in the college last season. And hey, he's got Jimmy Garoppolo got Devontae Adams, and you got Michael Mayer out there. So you still got you some talent. Here's some Michael Mayer highlights as we are watching. What you think about the Michael Mayer pick, Mike?
I like it. I think that was the biggest need right now, tight end and possibly receiver. But y'all made some valid points. You just traded your number one tight end, so why not go and replace him right away with the best tight end available on the board right now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let me see this comment. What's going on? Darnell said, when do you think Chris Smith from Georgia will go? I think he goes tonight. If not tonight, early tomorrow. I think he's been kind of mocked between the third and the fourth round. Wouldn't y'all say y'all would think he's been like third or fourth so far in most mocks?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's between later. It could be later this evening or it could be tomorrow. But this is a couple of quick highlights. Oh my God, those jerseys kind of clean too, by the way, Notre Dame. I like them. I like that green. But yeah, as you guys can see, Michael Mayer had a lot of George Kittle Gronk comparisons from a lot of analysts throughout this season. He was one of those guys who, outside of Brock Bowers, was raising eyebrows all season long. So Vegas got them a really solid tight end. I'm looking forward to see how he lights it up out there in Vegas. And Jimmy Garoppolo, who just came from having George Kittle, is going to have another solid tight end.
The Rams pick is in. I have them. I had 1B Mingo going to the Raiders. I think the Rams 1A is getting Mingo. They need receiver. I think that's their biggest need. They need a lot, but I think you gotta give Cooper Kupp some help as well. And whatever you're gonna do with Matthew Stafford, Sean McVay is still there. They still wanna their offense is still their strength. So they want to get the ball out.
This is interesting. I think Hooker is gonna come off the board. If not this pick, I think he's definitely gonna come off the board the next pick. They were talking that the Rams may be looking for a backup quarterback. I think they do have other needs, but I definitely think with the Seahawks right behind them, they might take Hooker just to prevent them from getting them. But yeah, we'll see.
I agree 100% for sure. I agree 100% for sure. This is going to be an interesting pick. By the way, the Rams have finally made it back to a draft. Shout out to the Los Angeles Rams organization. This is the organization that said F those picks, F for fun, said F those picks, and they got a Super Bowl ring, and now they have no talent. So finally the Rams are back.
And then traded Jalen Ramsey for a third-round pick and Hunter Long.
They traded him for Mike. They traded him for an oatmeal pie at the gas station because they definitely didn't put no type of effort into that.
I just felt like they could have got something better than that. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the rest of the NFL doesn't value Jalen Ramsey as high as they used to. I don't know.
Yeah, that division is going to be fun.
Yes, it is. I'm looking forward to that division. Now you got we have not even. I don't even know if we've begun to talk about enough how much fun that division is going to be. Adding Aaron Rodgers out there to a division that got Tua and the track runners in Miami, and then you got Josh Allen and the Bills. So it's gonna be some fun out there. I'm intrigued, but I am intrigued, like Mike said, to see what the Rams are thinking here. Let's see. Who that is? Oh, Torrio. And it is Steve Avila, the guard out of TCU. That's not a bad pick because The Rams have been trying to rebuild that offensive line since they lost Andrew Whitworth after the Super Bowl. So, I mean, he is a first round talent. What you guys think about that pick?
I think it's a good pick. They also lost Austin Corbett 2 seasons ago as well, and I know last year Stafford was getting beat up pretty bad. So I like the pick. You can't go wrong with building in the trenches. So I like it.
He's a solid player, but there's some solid offensive linemen still later in the draft. Um, I I feel like they could have drafted back because there's a player that I feel like is comparable to this player Avila, and that's Luke Weichel out of Ohio State. You could have traded back, but I'm not the biggest fan of it. But I mean, it's okay.
Yes, sir. I think. Oh God, no, y'all are not showing highlights from the Georgia beatdown. But Stephenville is a good guard, and Seattle is on the clock. I cannot wait to see what Seattle does here because Seattle has a plethora of options here at number 37. What do you guys think Seattle's going to do?
I wonder, is it going to be Hendon? I really wonder, is it going to be Hendon Hooker? And it looks like their pick is already in, so I'm already intrigued to see who it's going to be.
Yeah, Seattle wasted no
Yeah,
time.
it possibly could be Hendon. I mentioned when we covered the Seahawks that they had interest in Brian Branch, and I just said it didn't make sense because you had Ryan Neal and Jamal Adams. They initially were going to resign Ryan Neal, but they ended up letting him go, and he's back in Tampa. But I think they go Brian Branch.
Interesting. It's going to be Derek Hall out of the University of Auburn. That's not a bad pickup. Derek Hall is a solid. They needed to add linebacker help with Jordan Brooks, and I think that Derek Hall fits the. He's still technically he's an edge, and I think he got the speed to play that Seattle defense. To me, Seattle defense is just getting better and better. I think this team is building something special out there in Seattle. I don't want to go as far as screaming a Super Bowl team just yet, but watch these guys. Give them. They're headed in the right direction. Seattle's definitely headed in the right direction.
Yeah, Derek Hall was actually getting like first round grades early on, so maybe they saw something or something they didn't like for him to fall. I mean, it's still early in the second round, so it's not bad, but he was getting first
And
round
the
grades.
Falcons, Mike, I don't mean to cut you off. The Falcons have traded up to number 38. Let me show this quick highlight. I don't know what what did we come up to get, but the Falcons are now on the clock. What did we come up to get? The Falcons gave up their 4th round pick tomorrow. They had 2 4th round picks just to move up to number 38. Let's see what the Falcons are moving up to number 38 to pick.
Oh, so are you saying okay?
Just showing these quick highlights. It's going to go back to our screen. The Falcons are on the clock. They gave up a 4th round tomorrow to move up to this spot. So let's see who we're coming up to get. And our pick is in. So you're going to get a chance to get mine and Mike's immediate thoughts at number 38. It got to be some type of defensive player. Would it be Keon White?
I feel like he was going to be available, but it's possible. I think they go Brian Branch here to play on the opposite side of Jesse Bates.
I would love that too.
I believe it's upgrade over Richie Grant.
I would love that too. I would love that move too for the Falcons. I'm cool with Keon White. I'm cool with Brian Branch. Any of those guys that are coming off the board here, I would love it. Also, Falcon fans that have not known this just yet. Literally before this draft started, the Falcons picked up AJ Terrell's 5th-year option, so they get to wait another year before they have to deal with the AJ Terrell contract, which is awesome. So look at this situation for the Falcons. 2024, they're going to still have a lot of money, which is good for the organization. So highly intrigued to see what the Falcons are going to do right here. But I'm thinking it's going to be a defensive player of some sort. I would be shocked if it's anything but defensive. And my boy, hey. They took a guard from Syracuse. So Matthew Bergeron, the guard from Syracuse, the Falcons, technically, they're just building up. I think this move signals one thing, Mike. I think this move signals that they may be moving on from Jake Matthews after this season. I'm trying to figure out why we reached in the draft to get him. I think he would have been around, but I think this might be Jake Matthews' replacement. Not sure I would trade up to get him, but we'll see.
How y'all feeling, man? How y'all feeling? I see a lot of distraught. I see a lot of confusing. I see a lot of I want to know why. Why?
This offense better be top 10.
Yeah.
Offense better be top 10.
Because the thing is, it was a need. I just think that they reached for it. I don't think you needed to jump up to take a tackle.
No.
And go before tomorrow, even though you had 2 4th-round picks, I don't think you needed to move to 38. That man would have been there. I don't.
Where did y'all finish in rushing last year?
4.
We were 4. Yeah, we were in the top 5 in rushing last season.
Top 5. With those 2 picks being your top 2 picks, y'all better finish number 1 in rushing.
We better finish number 1, 1B, 1C, and 1D.
I ain't gonna say number 10, top 10 offense, because passing, that's a whole nother conversation over there with y'all. But y'all better finish top. Y'all better be the second rushing team in the league behind either Baltimore, Cleveland, or Philly. It better be, yeah, y'all better be up there. Yeah, KD, I'm saying why the Falcons do this to y'all? Why must I feel this way?
That move, like I said, that's a pick that would have been there. I don't understand. I get what you're thinking. You're trying to possibly get the reality is that could be a future Jake Matthews replacement pick, but I think you're reaching at number 30. Oh my God. I don't even know how to really chop that up. Hopefully the pick works. I don't know. Tobias said they want to run the ball down the opponent's throat and keep the defense rested. I mean, the defense wasn't the defense. Oh God, I don't know. I get you're trying to build your offensive line, but I think you could have got that tomorrow. That's what I think.
But the thing is, with having a run first offense, just as a Browns fan, like you got to have the lead, and you're building a team that if you get down early and you got to throw the ball, you can't. The run is out of the question, and so you're gonna have to throw swing passes to Bijan, and Algier's not really a threat out of the backfield to catch the ball. Like I mean, Cordell, I'm just thinking of how building this team, because I know a lot of teams like to build from that. That's what happened to Tennessee. Tennessee started to struggle when they were down because they couldn't control the ball, and that took the ball out of Henry's hands. You got to be able to throw the ball, and I don't know what the Falcons are doing. You just before even Bijan, you just drafted 2 outside perimeter players in the top 10 without a quarter. So what's going on? What's going on?
All I'm gonna say is this: last night pick made something can be made out of it. This one I can't make sense out of it. I'm gonna be honest, because Bergeron is not. First of all, this draft is too loaded at the guard and tackle position to go up and get a freaking guard from Syracuse who had the only block from Clemson in Florida. Your competition was Clemson, Florida State, Georgia Tech. You ain't really played nobody but maybe two solid off defensive lines. I don't know. That just was goofy.
Mike, man, you look stressed.
That was a goofy move. That's a super head scratcher. I don't really know how they.
I'm
So I
aggravated.
got a
I'm
question. I got a
aggravated
question
because
for
you
y'all.
had Keon White and Brian Branch right there.
Exactly. We better figure out a way to. We better figure out a way because at the end of the day, the reality of the situation is the Falcons should have been coming into this draft getting a pass. This is fans. Let me be brutally honest. I know Mike gonna chime off on this too. The Falcons are in a predicament where you should have still got you. I do not care that you went and gave a 3-year deal to David Ayumata, to Grady Jarrett. You gave a 1-year deal to Calais Campbell. This is the reality situation. You want to know what all three of those guys have in common, Armand? They have this in common. You know what this means? This is in the front of their age. These three digits. Let's see what Carolina's drafts were good. And Carolina takes Jonathan Mingo out of Ole Miss. They add to their receiving core. Smart pick. You gave Bryce Young his got a potential wide receiver one. Let me add that real quick before I go.
Honestly, I would have been still confused and upset. I would have been okay with Jonathan Mingo instead of whoever. No disrespect. I'm just upset right now.
Instead of Matthew ABCDEFG. Because
So
at this
I
point,
have a question. What picks do the Falcons have next year? Did you guys trade any picks next year?
I think we have everybody. I think we have all our picks.
Okay, so I think there's probably a plan for next year to possibly trade up to maybe get Caleb or Drake.
Oh, awesome. We still have a whole season to play this year. That move, like we were getting on the topic of, and I'm showing this is the Jonathan Mango highlights for Carolina Panther fans that are tuned into the stream. For the in the situation of the Falcons, I know you brought in Calais Campbell, but as I was saying moments ago, all three of our defensive linemen have that big three in front of their age. You got to get you a young guy to get ahead and get developed throughout the next year because I think you're okay this season as far as pass rush, but you need to be thinking the draft is for you to go long term. Bergeron is not a long term pick for me. As Mike mentioned, not when Brian Branch is on the board. Not when you got a guy like a Jordan Battle on the board. I mean, just it's a stupid pick. Bijan, you can understand, but this right here, this is a little ghetto. I don't know. I don't even know what to say, Falcons. Let's see what New Orleans is going to pick. What you guys think the Saints are going to pick? I'm not talking about them clowns right now. They almost made me cancel my season tickets. What y'all think the Saints are going to do?
Get myself together.
I understand. This type this type of crap make folks not want to get season tickets no more with these dumb picks like that. But what do you think the Saints are going to do, Armand?
I feel like they might double back to the defensive line. I know they drafted Breesy. I know they like getting athletic defensive ends. I'm trying to figure out who's still on the board. Oh, Keon White.
They like Florida players, and they need a guard. So the Osiris Torrance from Florida.
Yeah, he a big boy. He a mauler.
Let's see. Tobias said, I feel like the Falcons will trade up again. They need to do something because that mess that they just went up and did, they could have kept that. Me and Mike could have got a darn bodysuit and went out there and blocked on the offensive line this season before you go ahead and pick somebody that you don't even know. Saints going tight. And the Saints picked out Stefanski, the DN out of Notre Dame. He was getting first round grades. The Saints are taking the smart approach. They know this is essentially Breesy and Foskey is essentially the replacement for Cam Jordan and losing David Onyemata. They're doing exactly what they need to do to replace their defensive lineman that they're gonna lose and that they have lost in free agency over the last season. Listen, that's just I can't stand that team, but they are so smart. They draft so well. They don't go up there and pick people that you found from the University of Phoenix.
Yeah, I like this pick a lot. He really has a high pass rush win rate. He's long armed. He's athletic. He's a high character guy. Notre Dame gets high character players. I think this is a great move. He'll replace Marcus Davenport, who they lost to the Vikings. So I do think that, like you said, this is ushering a new era of defensive line for the Saints. So hopefully Cam Jordan can really mentor these guys. But he's a great player. I like him a lot. He had a really good game against Ohio State too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So do you think this is Cam Jordan's last season in New Orleans?
Possibly. I would have to look at his cap hit to see what his situation is. But I definitely think if they are not in contention, I think that they will try to, do right by Cam and trade him to a contender where he can compete for a championship.
This is the thing about the Saints, is which, every time I talk about it, I get pushback. The Saints were known under Sean Payton for being an elite defense. They rarely gave up 100-yard rushers. Last year they were terrible. They gave up, I think, maybe 4 or 5 200-yard rushing games. They were 24th in rushing. That defensive line, that front seven was not good. Yeah, you had Demario Davis back there and Caden Ellis, who's now a Falcon, and Pete Warner out of Ohio State. But that back end, that secondary was at strength. And Marshawn Lattimore was injured most of the year, and they were still pretty good with Paulson Adebo and Alontae Taylor out of Tennessee. But that front seven, they needed to retool it. And Cam Jordan, his best years are behind him. He's still serviceable, but I think you got to get younger, and this is what they're doing.
Yes, sir. I agree 100%. They definitely, and then for a team that's been in cap issues since the Drew Brees era, you are now putting some young talent out there in New Orleans. So this is both of these guys are 2 solid picks to help them long term. KR said, no, University of Phoenix, no way you just said that, Nate. Well, I'm gonna put it to you like this. Although I feel that the Falcons should have waited to the 4th or 5th round possibly to pick this tackle up, I'm going to tell you what that told me. We said in our stream, what was it, over a month ago when we did the Falcons stream, myself, Mike, and Armand did, that the Falcons needed to address another position on the offensive line. To me, I feel like that either replaced the left guard or potentially the center. So what do you think, Mike? I think that definitely signals someone on that offensive line from last year. I don't know if he's gonna play guard, but he potentially play guard because that left guard position was occupied by Elijah Wilkinson and Jalen Mayfield. So I think he might be coming to play left guard.
Yeah. So I don't think the issue with us was the player. I think it was trading up to get said player. I just didn't like that. But to Terry Fontenot's defense, he did say on a recent podcast last week that there's going to be some tough decisions come camp time when they got to start making roster cuts. And he said that if it comes to it and we have to trade up to get a player that we want because we don't need as many draft picks because it's going to be a battle, a war zone as far as who gets cut, then I mean, once again, even with Bijan, he hasn't hit the ball. He's done what he said he was going to do. So there's going to be a lot of competition, and maybe he doesn't need as many draft picks. I don't know.
Yeah, that could be a case too. And I really need to go look at the contract situation for certain offensive linemen because to me, you made that move. You had to make that move with the idea that somebody is not safe to take a tackle in the second round. You don't take a tackle that high if you don't have an idea. Matter of fact, I'm actually Mike. I know I mentioned initially. Hold on, the Cardinals are making a pick. Let's see what the Cardinals pick. Oh, it is Williams. Look at these Williams. BJ Ojolari to the Arizona Cardinals. That's a tremendous move for the Cardinals, a team that didn't really have a lot on that defensive line. They now bring in an edge rusher from LSU. He at one point was getting early first round grades, and now BJ Ojolari goes to Arizona. What y'all think about that?
Yeah, he's really fast. He's bendy. You know, he's a little undersized, but I really love that he can get after the quarterback. Those LSU speed pass rushes are always, bendy, a little on the light side, but he's productive. Arizona definitely needed a replacement to get some more sacks. So I like the pick for the Cardinals.
Yeah, I think it's a great pick. He has first round skill level, but I think it was his motor, and he's not really good at run defense. And I think that's something he's going to have to work on. But I want to look at this. I want to talk about this tweet by Adam Schefter that was put in one of the group chats. And the Russell Wilson trade is now complete from last year with Seattle's 37 pick. So the Broncos got Russell Wilson, Yemo, and the Seahawks got Drew Lock, Noah Fant, Shelby Harris, Charles Cross, Boye Mafe last year in the second round, Tyreek Smith this year, Devin Witherspoon, and Derek Hall. The Seahawks destroyed the Broncos in that trade.
Murdered them. Destroyed. And Green Bay's on the clock. Let's see what Green. And Luke Musgrave has been picked by the Green Bay Packers. You're adding talent for Jordan Love out there. I think it's a good pickup for the Packers. How y'all feel about Luke Musgrave going to Green Bay?
If he's healthy, I think he's going to be a steal. He had some injuries. He comes from a pedigree football family. Main thing like his health, but he's athletic. He's not really much of a blocker, so that's really got to be something he works on. Hopefully, Mercedes Lewis will take him under his wing to teach him. But I think that it'll be a nice move for Green Bay and a nice safety blanket for Jordan Love.
6'6", and he ran the fourth fastest 40-yard dash for tight ends. Hey, Green Bay has always had some pretty good tight ends during the Aaron Rodgers era, and even during the Brett Favre era. I think he could be the next great one.
Yes, sir. I agree with that. I definitely agree that the move now you're in Green Bay, quiet as it's kept, is really putting together some solid talent on offense for Jordan Love. You already got Aaron Jones. You got Christian Watson, who is already out there. You got Romeo Dubes. Now you add the tight end in Luke Musgrave. So Jordan Love got some pieces to work with. They're kind of taking that Falcon route as far as putting talent around a young quarterback. So they definitely got a good situation. They're just a little bit, they're further ahead. They got a solid offensive line and a solid defensive line, though. But I like the Luke Musgrave move for the Green Bay Packers. Just a couple of highlights of the guy. Like Armand said, if he's healthy, he's going to be a really, really talented guy out there in Green Bay. So shout out to the Green Bay Packer organization. Luke Musgrave is a really good move. Moving on to the New York Jets. What do you guys see they're going to do at 43?
Osiris Torrance or Brian Branch?
Yeah, I was thinking offensive. I was thinking offensive line here. The Bergeron pick may have affected their strategy.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm not sure if they need a tight end, but I could see maybe potentially Darnell Washington coming off the board here, or Joe Tippmann from Wisconsin. They need a center.
Yeah, they still have them listed as needing offensive linemen. That's their top two needs. So I know that doesn't matter, but that's what predictions go. But I think they still could go offensive line here again.
All right, let's see. Your Brickshot Ferguson's up there for. That is Joe Tippmann out of Wisconsin, the center. That is great move. You protecting Aaron Rodgers. If you are the New York Jets, it's a good move. What y'all think about that move?
Can't go wrong with a lineman from Wisconsin.
Yep.
so
You ain't lying.
Playing center there, they've had a great history of centers coming out of Wisconsin. So I know he's intelligent. He can really hold down the line. They need to protect Rodgers and get in a center in there who can, main thing is pre-snap, recognizing, blitzes, coverages. Rodgers will be able to help him see things that he may not be able to understand. So I really love the pick for the Jets. I like this pick better than the first round pick of Will McDonald.
Hey, what do you think about that pick, Mike?
Good pick. They like I said yesterday when we were trying to figure out what they were going to do in the first round. Offensively, they have running. They have the skill positions, but the offensive line was not good at all last year, and they need to shore that up. And this is a great pick. And like I said yesterday, you don't want to bring in an old Aaron Rodgers to run for his life. So yeah, this is a great pick.
Yes, sir. I agree 100%. And at 44 is going to be the Indianapolis Colts that are getting ready to finally get on the board. They're supposed to be on the board at pick. They're supposed to be on the board way sooner than this, but they had two trades happen. The Raiders came up and got Michael Mayer, and then the Falcons came up and got a guy they could have probably got in the 7th round. But anyways, what do you guys think that the Colts are going to do at 44?
Wait, so I just saw something that came across the screen. The Colts didn't have a draft pick in 2022. Is that
Yeah, they did a trade for Carson Wentz. I know we got their third for Matt Ryan, so the Colts definitely didn't have a lot of draft picks last year. So this their first time really getting back in to the and young Kobe checking in from YouTube said is AR really an answer to get them over the hump. I love AR, but I'm so tired of the arrogance and excuses made for him. He don't have a lot of passes in New York.
that's gonna be like a two-year thing before you can actually get him grade.
How you feel about that, Armand?
Yeah, I agree. He's gonna take some time. I think if he's with the right coach to get him to where he needs to be. And I really like the team around him. He got an all-pro running back. He has some good receivers. I think if Jelani Woods can, become something at tight end and they can improve the offensive line, I think the Colts could accelerate relatively quickly. So I know they're on the clock now. I wonder if they're going to look at potentially getting a corner. I know Julius Brent is on the board. They like man-to-man corners that are really physical at the line of scrimmage and at the point of attack. They usually like cornerbacks with long arms, so I'm interested to see who they'll select here.
Hey, real quick, is Anthony Richardson the quarterback from day one? Do y'all think?
I don't see a reason why he shouldn't be, honestly, which is crazy to say that.
Yeah, this might be the year that I think a lot of rookies are going to be starting. I just think that the competition. I mean, what Minshew's the quarterback. I mean, I could see it, but at the same time, I don't know. But they might. I think being slow is the right approach because if he struggles, then you go yank him and that'll hit his confidence. And yeah, but
I said that because of the Titans situation. Like you don't. I feel like it would be disastrous to throw him in there day one and he struggles. And you got another Malik Willis.
Yeah, we know who you were talking about, Kobe. We got you. We know who you were talking about.
Oh, okay.
Here come the Colts. Let's see what the Colts are gonna go ahead and take. It's Julius Brents, the corner out of Kansas State. I love that pick, and I absolutely love Julius Brents. How do y'all feel about Julius Brents?
hey, I called it, man. I said they was gonna go with a corner that had long arms and that could really play in a lot of scrimmage. And this is a really good pick for the Colts. I like what the Colts are doing.
How you feel about that pick, Mike?
He's definitely a specimen. It doesn't hurt. You lost Gilmore, bringing in another guy that that he's good at the press. He's strong. Obviously, he's 6'3". He can go up against the DKs of the world and whatnot. So I think it's a good pick.
Yeah, and there goes some of the highlights of him. He lit it up at the he lit up during the championship game, and Detroit has traded up to number 45. I'm intrigued to see what are the Lions coming up here for. What do you guys think the Lions are coming up here for? They better not get another Iowa player. I know that much.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be Hooker. I think Hooker's coming off the board.
Hooker this time?
I think it's Hooker. I think it's Hooker time. That sounds wild. So sorry about that, but that's just the man's last name.
We know.
Hey, you know what's crazy though?
Hey, funny story. When we played Tennessee, a girl had a sign and it was like, "Kirby, you can't have this Hooker," and someone said we don't want that one. But anyways, back on topic.
Hey, you want to know what's funny though? If he doesn't go in the next 3 picks, look who's up, the Eagles, and look who's the best player available, Brian Branch. You can't make this up.
Oh my God, that would be a mess if he ends up in Philadelphia. It's ridiculous.
They might make me buy a game system.
Man,
listen, for my guys that are in our Madden league that is watching the stream, if the Eagles find a way to get Brian Branch as well, they're going to be in their own tier by themselves. They are not going to be allowed to be in anything, but they're going to have their own tier called the Eagles on next year Madden because that's ridiculous. So y'all think it's going to be Hendon Hooker here?
Hey, I heard they really liked him a lot in the front office. And I know one of my good friends is clamoring for Hendon Hooker to come to the Lions. So we'll see what happens. But I think this will be a good spot for him.
And I don't know why CBS Sports decided to finally announce the Jeff Okudah trade. The trade already happened, but I guess this is the draft night. They must officially have to do the trade. But yeah, and I love. Listen, oh, by the way, I love the pace of this draft. It's going pretty smooth. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I know you may agree with with this as well, but it's starting low key. This is Seattle starting to become the favorite in regards to who's having the best draft.
Yeah, Seattle has done a really good job over the past 2 years building their roster. They're really loaded in the secondary, and I think they're trying to play fast, aggressive, and physical. They're really trying to build their modern version of that championship defense that featured the Legion of Boom. So I love what they're doing.
It astonishes me that in the year of 2023, you still have franchises like the Seahawks that seemingly, when they're rebuilding, they're not really rebuilding, and they can still manipulate everything, whether it be good fortune, and they still find themselves to be in good positions. They just a top to bottom, just a fantastic organization. Should have 2 Super Bowls, if not for, not trying to make Russ superhero. Should have ran the ball with beast mode. Would have had 2 Super Bowls, but yeah, they're a fantastic organization, and they make a lot of good moves regularly.
Yes, sir. Oh, by the way, the trade that is the Lions and Packers trade. So the Lions moved up 3 spots. The Packers. So by the way, that 5th round pick is 5th round picking. That pick was initially the Falcons pick that went into Jeff Okudah coming to Atlanta. Now that pick is now in Green Bay. So that draft pick is just draft picking everywhere. Mike, it feel like one of our Madden League drafts. That pick just floating everywhere. Everybody said shaking his head. Interesting. So I just heard NFL Network try to mention that could it be Keely Ringo here? I just heard that name pop up.
Possible. It's interesting. He's one of those guys that were getting really high draft marks early on, and you see him here in the 2nd round.
Okay, here goes the pick.
Okay, I like this pick too.
Brian Branch to the Lions. That is a great move for the Lions. You just added CJ Gardner-Johnson this offseason, and now you go get Brian Branch. That is a tremendous move for the Lions. What do you think about that, Mike?
It's a great pick. Yes, it's a fantastic pick. I think my guy tested bad at the combine, ran a 4.5, and I think that's why he's here in the 2nd round. Otherwise, he was getting 1st round grade marks the entire time. So I think this is a steal for them. Wish the Falcons would have took him so they could play opposite side of Jesse Bates, but whatever.
We want to take a plug and play player from Walmart. I'm sorry, Armand. They're going to catch this heat until the 3rd round, and they make it right by going to get me a darn defensive player. Because right now, I'm telling you, they should just put all 3 of us together, or get a bodysuit, and let me just go out there and just move somebody.
Hey man, stay encouraged, man. It'll be all right. But yeah, I like this pick, man. I mean, it ain't always about your testing, man. He's a good football player. That's all that matters. And he's intelligent. He plays safety. They've had a lot of good safeties that have came out of Alabama, so I really like the pick. And they can move him around. Man, the Lions gonna be fun. I will say that they're making up. They're making up for for yesterday. But I think if I look at it not for where he was picked and just what he can do, I think I'm warming up to it, even though he was picked a little too high for me. But I see what the Lions doing. I see the vision.
I'm going to go on like a 20-second rant real quick. This guy, the only reason he's not a 1st round pick is because it's 40 time. This man plays in the box. He led the team in tackles. He was high and tackle for loss. He can take down a running back no matter how big he is, no matter how fast he is. He could play the slot corner position. He could play star. He played every cornerback position for the Alabama last year. He's so versatile. Like, what are we doing? He was like top 5 in sacks. Like, okay, great pick for the Lions.
It is. I don't get how he slipped this far. But I can tell you right now, the Lions are putting something together out there in Detroit, and they better be on the lookout for the Detroit Lions. That team can possibly in the division this year.
It's crazy to me that we still. I know 40 time matter, but it's crazy to me that we still value like these combine scores so much. You can look at the tape. You can look at the game speed. He plays faster than 4.5. Like sometimes we just overthink it, man.
I agree. The league has fell in love so much with speed that there are certain players that just go so underappreciated. And watch Jordan Battle ends up being in a New England uniform. They lost Devin McCourty, and this could possibly be Jordan Battle's new home. What do y'all think?
That's a good question. You already got a corner. Feel like I don't know what lineman is here, but I feel like they're gonna probably invest in a lineman, probably a defensive end. Um, I'm not sure.
And me and Mike and I understand, Mike. I understand. Y'all done made Mike have to rant, Lord. By the way, Jalen Mayfield, if you're anywhere watching this stream, sir, you are gone. That's what I think. I also think that move did that too, Mike. As far as the second round pick, Jalen Mayfield, you might well go ahead and go commentate at Michigan because you're done.
Man, look, I'll go ahead and pack your bags for you.
You ain't lying. We'll meet you at the airport in about a couple of hours. So you might well go ahead and go. I forgot all about Sylvester Vollmer. Let's see who New England's going to take right here at 46.
I like this move. I like this a lot.
And it's Keon White, the edge out of Georgia Tech. I love that move for New England. Love that move for New England. He was getting first round grades, and New England needed to upgrade at the defensive line. I think Keon White's a solid move for the New England Patriots. What do you think about that, Mike?
Yeah, I had Keon White going to the Seahawks in our mock draft a couple of weeks ago. He's 6'5", 285, 7 sacks. He was double teamed a lot. He's very versatile. Armand mentioned yesterday he played tight end at Old Dominion prior to transferring to Georgia Tech. He's a third down guy. He has that skill set. There's a YouTube clip of him running a wheel route with a running back running stride for stride. This is a great pick.
I wonder is it going to be on this particular clip because I know exactly the play that you're talking about. And honestly, Keon White was a big reason this Clemson game was still close early on. Well, other than the fact that DJ is trash. But anyways, that too. But Keon White is a dog. I really like him in New England.
Yeah, I think Bill loves those linemen who are powerful, who can really pressure, get a lot of hurries, especially. I really like the pick. They really get some good second round picks and develop them.
And this draft is moving fast, by the way. The Commanders are back on the clock. They took Emmanuel Forbes last night, and I'm intrigued to see what they're about to do right here. And they add Jartavius Martin, the corner out of Illinois. They said they're not going to have a corner issue this season. What do you guys think about that move?
They want to be. They want some physicality. They want more physicality in the secondary on that defense. That's the secondary was soft last year, and they want some physicality. They need to get faster. I like the pick.
I'm not sure how they look at the linebacker position, but from the front four to the back end, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. They should be one of the top 10-ish defenses in the league this year. You're gonna get some pass rush. You're gonna be able to stop the run with Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne in the middle. You hope you have a big year from Chase Young, but if you do, man, that defense should be really really nice.
I agree 100%. And to me, you are now making it where this defense is going to be tough to deal with, and you need corners in that division. You're dealing with CD Lamb and Brandon Cooks and that big group in Philadelphia. So you definitely better get you some help out there. Like to move for him. And I think
Yeah,
Tampa is on the clock next.
this
Was it
the skin, formerly the Redskins, the Commanders.
yeah, it's all
Uh,
right.
they they can give some teams a run for their money. I don't see them getting swept by the Cowboys or the Eagles. They should be able to hold their own, especially defensively. That's gonna be an interesting division too. Of course the Eagles should win it, but that's gonna be an interesting division.
Yes, sir. I agree 100% that the Eagles should be able that they're going to give the Eagles some problems this year because they were in the wild. The whole division could have made the playoffs last year. Let's see what Tampa's going to pick here. And Green Bay moved that pick again. And Tampa took Jagar out of North Dakota State and Cody Mock. And I think that's a good move for them. They needed to upgrade. And Young Copeland said they got 99 problems, but Washington football team ain't one. But Tampa did need to get a guard in some sort. They did have a big turnover at that position. Mike, what do you think about that? And they also had injuries on their offensive line too, so they really needed this.
I'm very familiar with him. He's a solid player. He kind of resembles Ryan Jensen. The offensive lineman they had. He's nasty. He's big. He's ferocious. I think it's a solid pick.
Oh, hit the wrong button. There we go. And there goes highlights for Cody Mock, the guard out of North Dakota State. But yeah, that's a good pick for them. The Pittsburgh Steelers are back on the clock. I don't know if did they trade up? No, they're actually back on the clock. Pittsburgh did have their own second round pick, and then they had to pick for Chase Claypool as well. But as you see, that's Cody Martin doing what Cody Martin does best. Good luck in Tampa, and I hope our defensive line can cause him havoc in his rookie season. Armand, what do you think about this pick?
I like this pick a lot. I know that they lost Donovan Smith in free agency. I know Tristan Wirfs was also injured last year, but I think he'll be playing guard. Got to build the trenches and obviously protect whoever's going to be QB. So I do like the pick. He kind of reminds me a little bit, like you said, Ryan Jensen, just with the look, but also how he plays with the physicality.
Yes, sir. I wanted to see what the Steelers are going to do here at 49. Do y'all have the Steelers? Do you think the Steelers double down on this in the secondary and go get Jordan Battle, or do they add somewhere else?
I think this might be a landing spot for Osiris Torrance. I know they need a guard, physicality, or It could be possibly. I'd say if there's a pass rusher, I know they could use another person opposite TJ Watt. That could be helpful, and also possibly inside because they did lose Devin Bush.
Okay, yeah, and that, like you said, that would be good. They also could add on on the interior of the defense line. Hey, we're getting older, so got ways they can go here. What you eating good over there, Armand?
No, this is just a ice cream sandwich, man.
Hey, that's all that fits the billing.
It's the billing.
Let's see. Pittsburgh has got to come back to the podium. Let's see what they're gonna pick.
Hey, my team may pick it for a while, man.
What do you guys pick?
74.
Oh God.
Yeah, we would have picked if we didn't trade for Elijah Moore. We would have picked already in the 40, 42, 43. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. My friend told me I need to do my annual film myself once the Browns pick. I don't know if you remember the year that they drafted Corey Coleman. Yeah, that was rough.
Oh my God, I wish I still had that video of the Corey Coleman draft. Mike, he had us cracking up, man. The Corey Coleman pick was hilarious. Oh my God. The defensive tackle out of Wisconsin, Keanu Benton, goes to the Steelers. That's a good pickup for the Steelers. Mike and Armand, what y'all think about that?
I like it. I like it.
I'm concerned.
Oh, you don't like it?
All the AFC North teams drafting really well, man. And I feel like the Steelers trying to get back to their old days, trying to knock people heads off, man. I'm concerned. It ain't like the NFC North where there's all these confusing picks. Every team picking somebody good in our division, man. What's going on? And they lost Stephon Tuitt retired last year, so they need another defensive end opposite Cameron Hayward. I don't know too much about him, but I mean, obviously, if the Steelers like him, he must have some type of talent. So.
Yes, sir. I agree 100%. And like we said, they are just getting that group back. You get there. Oh, I see the Dolphins are creeping around the clock soon too. Hi, Dolphins, you idiots. Let's see what Green Bay's gonna pick at number 50. So Jaden Reed, the wide receiver from Michigan State, is going to Green Bay. I think that is a reach. What do you guys think?
I know he tested pretty good. Michigan State had a down year this year, but he is fast. I will definitely say that he's lightning in the bottle, and he plays bigger than his size. So they needed another receiver that could handle the slot. So it may be a little bit of a reach, but I understand. I love the commitment to getting Jordan Love as many weapons as possible.
How about you, Mike? What do you think about that move? There you go. Some Jaden Reed highlights too, by the way. And the Dolphins are getting ready to be on clock at 51. Mike, what do you think about that move for Jaden Reed?
Like we said yesterday, they're gonna start drafting offensive players now that they got rid of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, we did just say that yesterday. And there are some highlights, and the Dolphins are now on the clock. These picks are picking now. Oh man, the
Now,
Dolphins select Cam Smith out of South Carolina to pair up with Jalen Ramsey and Xavier Howard. Oh my God, what y'all think about that move?
This kind of reminds me of the Browns last year, drafting a cornerback that they may have not needed to pick, but it's a
Newsom.
luxury pick. They drafted Emerson last year, so I mean he could play. I know one of the things we said that he's pretty handsy, but he's really a 50-50 guy who can play at the high point of the ball. He is very physical, but I don't know. I feel like they could have drafted somebody else. Because I don't know if he has the quickness enough to play in the slot. I know he's played in the slot, but I'm not sure.
yeah, I think this is
Yes,
an excellent pick. I had him going in the first round in several drafts. I love it. I love it.
and it's fun to get richer. Okay, Seattle's back on the board. Oh boy, I want to see what these Seahawks are doing. The Seahawks is killing this draft, by the way.
Armand, do they go hooker right here?
I don't know, man. If they do, man, they got an A plus. They got an A plus plus.
Man, I don't. I honestly don't know who. I don't know.
Hmm.
Okay.
I don't hate it for them because you add is Zach Charbonnet out of UCLA. He was at Michigan. To me, you got you a this kind of goes in a This is similar to what the Falcons situation is now with Tyler Algier and what's his name. But you got Kenneth Walker and Zach who's going to really cut up. But again, Seattle is putting all sorts of talent on that field. Man, listen, I need to see who is all in that Seattle scouting department. They all need GM jobs because Seattle goes ahead and does well every year. What y'all think?
You know who he kind of reminds me of?
Who's
Kind of
that?
reminds me of Nick Chubb, man.
He does.
Like that one cut, I'm in the ground, how he hold the ball when he running, he kind of give me Chubb vibes. I ain't hip to him. I'm looking at his highlights. I'm like, dang, he looked like Nick Chubb. Okay, Seattle, all right.
And he even his burst is ridiculous too.
And he number 24. Okay. Yep, Seahawks. Okay, Seahawks get an A from me, man. Yeah, man. Y'all can't tell me he don't look like Nick Chubb, man.
He plays like him.
And two, so this is what I'm gonna say. You got Kenneth Walker. You just got him in the second round. You're not wasting the second round pick on a guy that you're not gonna use. Maybe on just on third downs. This goes to what the Falcons did at running back. Their theory. You can save your running backs by pairing them up with other guys, which lessens the burden and allows them to play longer. And I feel like it's not to the extreme like the Falcons, but you still drafting a running back in the second round after you already have basically a borderline all pro running back already. I think this is where we're going as NFL. You're gonna see more teams drafting running backs to pair with their starter already.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, Mike. I think the difference between him and even Walker is that he can catch the ball out the
Yep.
backfield too. And just Walker had a little bit of injuries last year, but I think just some change of pace. Running backs, I mean, he's physical. Like this
Yes,
guy,
he
he
is.
runs hard. Like you gonna feel him every time he gets the ball. And they're the
Yeah.
type of guys you need. Like, but they're really building a balanced team. Like they got Njigba, they got Corvinet. It's looking good, man. I don't know what other picks they got, but who knows, man? I don't know if they go get Hooker, but I think they're doing all right.
Yes, sir. And next is going to be the Bears. This pick is from the Roquan Smith trade. What do you think the Bears are going to do here?
I feel like there's got to be defense. I think that they need so they need to get stronger in the trenches. I would say a defensive end is probably the pick. Now, I will have to see who's probably on the board. I feel like they may take a athletic prospect.
Okay. Let's see what the Bears. Oh, it's still some solid talent on the board too. But you know what? The Bears could add on this. This is a team that could add a possible defensive lineman as well. I would like to see the Bears add on their defensive line too, because I mean, their talent wasn't the best. I'm trying to see what their picking is, and then and then we got a couple more picks in the second round. We got the Chargers. The Chiefs is moving up to 55. I think the Chiefs did a trade. They must have seen somebody. The Lions and the Chiefs just swapped.
So Devin Hester, okay. Javon Dexter Sr. Okay.
Oh my God, that is a great pick for the Bears. They did need to add on that defensive line, and Javon Dexter is a really solid guy. He was one of the best players on that for the defense last year. Trying to get his highlights to come up as we speak. Of Mr. Javon Dexter Sr. is going to get up shortly, and here we go.
That's Javon, a Bears pick. That's definitely the Bears.
That's a Chicago pick, absolutely. Yeah. And for the ones tuned in, this is some of his highlights.
Well, what makes him a Bears pick? I would like to learn a little more.
Mike, he said, "What makes him a Bears pick here?"
What'd you say?
What makes him a Bears pick?
He kind of reminds me of and y'all gonna say this because he's a Falcon now, but he kind of reminds me of an Goldman. Uh, he's not as dominant as him, but this is definitely a Bears pick. It reminds me of who's the guy that works for the Falcons now that used to work for the Bears. He got fired as GM.
Pace.
Not Ryan Poles, is it?
Poles is their GM now.
Okay, so the Falcons have their former GM in their department, and it just feels like a pick that he would make when he was with the Bears. I'm not saying they don't need it, but I don't know, man. I feel like you have more needs, but hey.
Also,
I'm not the biggest fan of it.
As the Chargers get to find out what the Chargers is going to pick, they also picked up Justin Herbert's 5th-year option, so they got another year before they have to deal with the contract situation as well.
They have to pay him, right? Like, there's no doubt that the Chargers are going to pay him.
Oh, without question.
Even if they go out in the first round in this year?
Tupaludu. Listen, if I mess his name up, y'all forgive me. But it's the DN out of USC. I think that's a good move. I think he goes on that line with Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. What y'all think about that pick?
He got a great genes. I mean, they got like 4 or 5 cousins in the NFL, man. He's athletic. I mean, he's probably by far the best player on USC's defense. That was porous. He has some really good bend off the edge. So I definitely think that he will probably be a future replacement for Khalil Mack on that rushing. So I like the pick for him. Hopefully he can do better in space. If he has to play in coverage, but yeah, solid pick.
Yes, sir. And they only had 12 and a half sacks on this. He had 12 and a half sacks in 2022, which is highly impressive as well.
Yep. That defense was really, really bad. He was the lone really bright spot on that team. So we see that the Chiefs are on the clock now. What do you think that they might do here, Nate?
They gotta add probably on the defensive line or even that linebacker, or you can't go wrong with adding another receiver. You lost a lot of receivers in free agency. This could be Jalen Hyatt. This could be a Jalen Hyatt range. I'm not sure. What do you think?
This is interesting. I think this could possibly be Marvin Mims from Oklahoma. I think he would be very interesting here. I also could see possibly Trenton Simpson. I know you mentioned linebacker. I think Nick Bolton has done really well. Willie Gay has been okay. If they could get another difference maker there, I think that would be an upgrade on their defense. But yeah, wide receiver Marvin Mims might be an interesting selection here.
What about you, Mike? What do you think the Chiefs are thinking right here?
I'm trying to see who. My internet just went out, so I'm trying to figure out where we are in the draft. Where we at, 55?
We are at 55, and the Chiefs are the ones on the clock now.
Man. For some reason, I've been enamored with them going with a tight end. I don't know why.
Could this be Darnell Washington?
I've said the entire time they're going tight end, so I'm gonna stick with it right now.
Could be Tucker Kraft from South Dakota State as well. He seems like he fits that athletic tight end mode. I know they got Noah Gray. They could also look at defensive line again. I know there's I don't want to butcher his name. Adetomiwa at the bottom way.
It's okay.
Yeah, yeah. He's from Northwestern,
We
so
don't expect you to be perfect. It's okay.
yeah. I just want to try, but at
Hey,
first you
A
don't
for effort.
succeed.
I am proud.
A for effort, but hey, they gotta announce the name, not me.
Right. Cause don't worry, because when we drafted Foye Aluakon years ago, it took me a season to figure out his name. I had messed his name up for a whole season before I actually got his name right.
Yeah. But I'm also thinking like, okay, the Kansas City has lost. They lost Juju Smith-Schuster. They lost McCole Hardman. They have Kadarius Toney. They have Scott Moore. Who's their third receiver? That's a good question. So I'm thinking like if Jay Holly goes, man, I'm telling you, if Jalen Holly goes to the Tennessee, the Kansas City Chiefs, that's gonna be a problem.
Yes, it is. And that's why I said that he could potentially be in this range right here.
Because they need that downfield explosive player.
There are a couple of guys that I did not know that were still on the board. Osias Torrance has been slipping. Trenton Simpson is the one who I just knew was going to be off the board sooner than this. We're trying to find out who are the Chiefs picking here. All right, here comes the selection for the Chiefs. And after the Chiefs, we got the Jaguars, Giants, Cowboys, Bills, Bengals, Bears, and the Eagles. And we were probably gonna wrap it up at the end of the second round. Probably gonna wrap it up at the end of the second round. And me and the guys, we gonna get a chance to kick back and watch the third round. And Sunday, I'm planning on having my guys back to do a show. We got to talk about our teams.
Ooh, that's okay. That was a guy who I did mention earlier. I forgot.
Ooh,
He's a yards after catch monster.
I'm a huge fan of Rashee Rice.
That's a really good pick. He's gonna have a lot of yards after the catch. Oh man,
and he is highly underrated. Highly underrated.
SMU is one of them weird schools, man. They've produced some wide receivers.
Yes, they have. We go full screen so you can see the highs of Rashee Rice. Rashee Rice is probably one of the underrated guys in this class. And now they got Valdez Scantling, they got Kadarius Toney. They got some nice pieces. I like that move. And it looked like the Bears have traded up to 56. The Bears are just getting active all over. Who are the Bears possibly going up for right here?
I got them taking Tyreek Stevenson, the cornerback out of Miami.
I can see that. And as you see, him having the Patrick Mahomes to throw the ball to him is going to be fun. Look at these highlights of Rashee Rice. And he's a home run threat too if you let him be.
All right, Mike called it.
You got him? Okay.
And it is Tyreek Stevenson out of the University of Miami, former Bulldog. Like we said, we claim all four. He started off at UGA, ended up going to Miami, had a really, really solid top career down there at the University of Miami, and now Chicago adds to that secondary. What y'all guys think about Tyreek Stevenson in Chicago?
I don't know much about him, but I know Miami has a lot of very athletic players. So I'm sure he has, a lot of potential. Looks like he has really good ball skills. But I do hope that he probably his technique probably is interesting as well as just tackling. So I don't know too much about him, but it looks like he's a ball hawk. So
they get to pair him with Kyler Gordon, who they drafted in the second round last year.
Oh, yes.
Kyler Gordon was amazing last year. Like he gave the Falcons problems. So that's how I got introduced to him. So that's a good start for a secondary. And then you still got Eddie Jackson in the back. So yeah.
Let's see what the Giants are going to do here. And John Michael Smith to the New York Giants, the center out of Minnesota. To me, this move is solid because you already got Andrew Thomas, you got Evan Neal, and now you add John Michael Smith. That offensive line is turning out to be really solid in New York. What you guys think about that move?
definitely a strength for them. They've invested a lot of resources there, so they're going to be committed to running the football with Saquon. I really like what their offensive line is looking like. They got Andrew Thomas, Evan Neal, now Schmitz. They're going to be nasty, and Dable is really going to emphasize the run. So looking good for the Giants.
What you think, Mike?
Yeah, it's a solid pick. I like it.
All right, let's see what the Cowboys are going to do here. 58. Not Drew Pearson. Oh, God. Don't start this mess again, Drew Pearson. Stop, please. Stop. You do this every time you go up there.
Hey man, I want to be that old that had that much energy, man. I want to be that old that had that much energy, so I'm here for it.
Man.
He said, you want to go out there and play with Dak.
Luke.
So the Dallas Cowboys was at Michigan. It was at Michigan Pro Day, just like the Eagles. They said we like the Michigan Pro Day.
You got Cowboys. I don't understand. You got Kamari Everett. You got Darnell Washington. You got. Did they just take a butt up there and pick him? What was that?
I mean, they needed a tight end, like they said. I don't
Not
know.
that tight end.
I mean, they maybe he's a better blocker than those two.
hmm
So maybe that's their angle.
What was I don't hey, I thought our pick was a mess. That might be the worst pick of the second round. Just
Yeah, that's a head scratcher. That's definitely um hey, but there's not a lot of tight ends that are left. So they just said, "Hey, we need to get our guy."
they let Drew Pearson go up there.
Hey man, he had great energy, man.
That's awesome.
So I see the offensive linemen that are still on the board. The top two, I think the issue is weight issues, conditioning. Those are some big guys, and making sure you can control your weight is a big deal. So I'm interested to see who the Bills gonna take here. I feel like they need a linebacker, and I feel like they need to take Trenton Simpson.
That'd be a good move for sure. All right, we got about 4 picks left in this second round, and then the third round we'll start off with Chicago. Waiting to see what the Bills are gonna do here. It's only their pick number 59. We know they got Dawson Kincaid. So what? So what? So what? What did they go here?
I feel like they need a linebacker. They lost Tremaine Edmonds, so they got to replace him. I know they got Matt Milano, but who's their other linebacker? They also could take a corner here as well. There's a lot of corners on the board. They could take possibly Keely Ringo.
That could be another potential move there too.
But I actually think this is kind of setting up good for the Browns.
Yeah,
If these wide receivers keep falling, a lot of receivers, but we need a speed guy.
oh, that's the Chiefs got it. That's out there. He's okay. Let's see what the Bills finally gonna pick here. Bills need to go safety, point higher. Yes, you are correct. They are getting up in age.
One of the big boys came off the board. Okay.
Oh, great move for the Bills. Great pickup. They pick up Osiris Torrance, the guard out of Florida. That's a tremendous move. He at a point early on in the season was getting first round grades. You remember that, Mike? So Cincinnati's back on the board. Is this where do they go tight end here?
I think they go corner here.
And the
And I
Bengals
think
is already in.
Might go Keeley.
That would be a good move for them. If not them,
or yeah, it might do. Could this be Darnell Washington? I don't know.
Let me go ahead and break the news because unfortunately social media has already broke the news, and all my Madden folks are going to run to this, are going to be trying to go get Cincinnati because the Cincinnati Bengals are about to go to the podium and take DJ Turner out of Michigan.
Yeah, he was one of the guys. Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah, that was the corner that I think that they was gonna take too.
Yeah, I highlighted DJ in that matchup against TCU. I was like, he's the guy that's gonna have to be going to take the challenge of guarding Quentin Johnston. So he's a solid player. Of course, he has elite speed. It's a good pick.
And he had a blazing 4.28, I believe, was his combine grade.
He reminds me of another cornerback that the Bengals took many years ago, Leon Hall.
Oh my God, that's a good
Michigan.
comparison.
They really like those Michigan players. They drafted Daxton Hill last year, who is going to replace Jesse Bates, who played the nickel. So, although I don't like Michigan, hey, I can't knock it, man. They got some good players that are coming in the league, so I like this pick for them.
Let's see what Jacksonville's going to do here. What do Jacksonville need at that position, in this position?
They took a lineman first round. I feel like they need a corner. They need a corner. They need secondary help too.
Yeah, I can see them going corner or that
Ringo.
Yeah. Or either corner or that the defensive end out of Northwestern.
All right. Hey, and Philadelphia is on the board right after the Jaguars. And Philadelphia, just go ahead and pick Darnell Washington or Keely Ringo. Just go ahead and Georgia it up. Just keep the Georgia trend up, okay?
Man, don't let them take Jalen Hyatt, man.
Oh my God, that is interesting.
All they need, I'm telling you, man. He go to one team. He got one roll and one roll only. Just run straight.
So, Mike, I gotta ask you, since we're gonna be off the air after the Lions pick, everyone. We appreciate y'all tuning in for draft coverage with us too, for sure. If do the Falcons consider Jalen Hyatt in a couple of picks?
I know you went all in on defense for free agency. At some point, there's some really solid defensive players still on the board. At some point, you gotta take care of your defense again. And you just got Scotty Miller. That's supposed to be your deep threat. I know it's levels to this. Jalen Hyatt, Scotty Miller, but at the same time, I don't know, man. Yeah, it'll be a nice pick, but I want him to go defense for the rest of the draft.
I would say the receiver that y'all should get. I mean, I know Hyatt is a cool name, but I think Cedric Tillman will be a better fit for y'all.
That's a good. That's I can agree with that. And the Eagles will not be picking at that next pick. It's going to be the Houston Texans. There's a trade that's going to move the Texans up to that pick with the Eagles.
Okay.
So I'm wondering what the Texans are coming up to get. Could it be a corner here?
Oh, the Texans.
The
Texans.
Yeah,
the Texans
Houston's
are
going to be picking
Darnell Washington or Jalen Hyatt. Do you remember J-Mo with Bryce Young? Oh, Jalen Hyatt.
That makes so much sense. So yeah, we're waiting on we know that the NFL's trying to make their money, so we're just waiting on them to come back. But we do know
what
that,
you mean y'all going off the
air. Well, we're gonna be going off in the third round. We're gonna enjoy the third round. You guys have gotten 6 hours of draft coverage from us. 6 hours. We've been grinding with you guys. But that make us feel loved though, for real. We appreciate it. Nick, you've been in here in them trenches with us. We appreciate that. Cause it definitely a process. Who drafted Josh Downs?
I think he's still on the board.
Okay, I was about to say, I'll be honest with you, Josh Downs should have stayed another year. I think he came back. I think he should have came back.
He's undersized.
Oh, look at Fred Taylor.
Oh,
who? And I watch football and don't know who this is. Yikes. If they like it, I love it. And also, Detroit will not be picking at their 63rd pick. It's gonna be the Denver Broncos. I think Denver has finally entered the draft, and the Browns are gonna enter the draft before the Falcons in the third round. So I can't wait to see what the Browns are gonna do in a couple of picks, for sure. But we are winding down to the last couple of picks. Let's see what the Texans picked here.
He gives me Isaiah Oliver vibes, and he just got a lot of money from the Vikings. Am I tripping?
Yikes!
That's what he looked. That's what he looks like to me.
Yikes! Not Isaiah. All right, y'all. After the Broncos, we will be wrapping this stream. We've given you guys. Hey, we appreciate y'all, man. We really do. But my boy Armand got to get ready to mentally prepare for the Browns be on the board in a few picks.
What's up with all these Penn State players getting drafted? All right, what? Did they pro day was going crazy or something? Did I miss something?
Huh?
Hey, shout out to the Big Ten, but hey, man, Penn State cleaning up.
Do Scruggs? Okay. So the center out of Penn State they needed to get their offensive line intact. They trying to protect CJ Stroud. And Nick said, "Just say a ball." Oh my God, I don't know what Penn State got going on, but they getting drafted today.
I want to really say who?
Right. Mike, as we get ready to do the final pick for tonight, you got anything to say? What about you, Armand? What y'all guys got to say, man, before we get ready to wrap this show up?
The Seahawks won the second round. Questionable picks. Sorry to come back at y'all Falcons. I don't know what the Jaguars are doing. Another team I think that did well. I like what the coach. I like what the coach did. I like what the coach did in the second round. I think they're gonna be an interesting team to watch.
Okay, Mike. How do you feel? What's your last words?
I agree. Seahawks won, definitely won the second round. Probably have won the entire draft so far. I keep going back to the Falcons, man. We've done so well in the draft the last few years, and free agency this year, finally having cap space, and just to do what we did today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, my fellow alumni, DeMarcus Ware, Troy University.
And the Broncos in the second round with Marvin Mims Jr., the receiver out of Oklahoma. Solid pick for them to add out there with Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton in that group. But everybody, hey, appreciate y'all being tuned in to the draft coverage. I know we're gonna get Armand back on here with us. Me and Mike are coming back Sunday to give our Falcon recap. I know the Falcons are going to tighten up before the night is over with her. We're going to be very, very brutal to them about that second round pick. Hey, but with that being said, everyone, we've been enjoying it, man. 6.5 hours of draft coverage. You guys have been in it with us. So, no, Nick, you're not loving it. You're hating it. You hate it all. Yes, you hate it all. But with that being said, y'all have a good rest of the evening. Enjoy the third round. And until Sunday, this has been the crew signing off.
See y'all later.
See y'all.